Video games. Oh, nice. I like those. Hey everyone, welcome to VintageGamer.com. Today we're taking a look at a boxed, complete Atari 7800 and some still factory sealed games, complete in box, and some of the stuff it came with. And there's my cat because he has to be in every single video. So, quick shout out to Brian. Brian's a longtime friend, fan of the channel. This 7800. The box, the system, and some of the games came from him. And he was just, you know, how it goes. You get married, you have kids, and got to make a little room. And he was nice enough to donate this to the VintageGamer.com collection. So I thought we'd go over it. So here's the box the 7800 came in. This one's a little beat up, but it's still, you know, given its age, I really don't think it's in bad shape. The Pac-Man game was Pole Position 2, which is the best racing game ever. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. And the nice thing about the 7800 is that it was backwards compatible to the 2600, but not the 5200. But the 2600 is the one that had all the games people wanted. There's the infamous 7800 controllers, which, while not wonderful, better than the 5200 in my opinion. There are some other alternatives out there. We'll go over those in another video. There's one in particular I would highly recommend, but that's another video. Today we're just looking at this. Gotta love that kind of faux stainless steel finish with the Atari logo and stuff. And so works like a joystick, also works like a paddle. So, which is great for a game like Pole Position. So, you know, gas, brake, right, left, and then you got the joystick controls, but just very, very big, very clumsy looking compared to an NES controller. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't think Atari hit it out of the park with that, but they did differentiate themselves by maintaining the paddle controller and the joystick. Just didn't have the desired effect. So the system itself, and it's funny, this just came back from Stone Age Gamer in Salem, Ohio, and they, you know, I told them, hey, I'm going to be doing some 7800 videos, and let's get this thing cleaned up and working. It worked the last time it was out of its box, but honestly, I think that's been about almost 25 years, and the RF cable disappeared. So that's one of the reasons it went to Stone Age. I wasn't sure if there were some modern alternatives, and there is. We'll get to that in a second. But I wanted to verify it worked. And anytime you're going to take an old thing that's been sitting for years and years and years and start using it on a semi-regular basis, I just feel like it's always a good idea to get it, you know, just blown out, cleaned up pretty nicely. I think got a little scratch, but overall this cleaned up really nicely. And so the back is very, very, very basic, unfortunately. So that little switch there, you can flip between channel 3 and 4 on an old CRT TV to see where you what channel you want to play your games on. So right there we have just like a AV cable, RCA cable, you know, the red, yellow, white cables, and there's only one. There's not one for sound, so you have to use this little RF adapter. Put a picture up on the screen, and that will carry your sound, and that's your power right there, and that is it. Zoom in on this a little bit here. Let's see what we got there. There we go. Made in Taiwan, even back in the 80s. But Taiwan seems to make better stuff, much better than China anyway. But there we have it. So since there's not a start button on the controller, pause is right here on the console. There's power, obviously. Select, you know, hard, easy, things like that, 1 player, 2 player. And there's a reset button. And just a very standard slide your cartridge in. No moving parts like the NES, so these No moving parts is probably why these have held up so well, in my opinion. Now here's the front. 2 controller ports. I honestly do not remember what these do. If I remember before the end of the video, I will say it, but otherwise I'll pin a comment. I'm sure there's people much more familiar with the system that definitely do remember. So, all right. Thank you, kitty cat. Appreciate your help. Okay. So let's take a closer look at the box. I remember when Brian got this, we were, both around 19 or 20 at the time. It was 99, 2000, something like that. And we, remember we took a trip to Downey, California, which is not terribly far from where we lived at the time, but took a minute with SoCal traffic and stuff. And he picked up a huge lot of Atari games from a seller, and I picked up a huge lot of NES games. Lo and behold, I just noticed that there's still a price tag there. Is that KB? It came from KB. I had no idea. I cannot make that out. That looks more like a stock number than a price tag. Okay. But so there we. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that was there. So here's the bottom. Don't really know how many variant boxes there are. I believe this was the this was like the 7800 version of the NES action set. It came with the 2 controllers and a game and stuff. And I'm sure there were other versions probably that came out, but I think this is the one probably most people that bought a 7800 got. There's a TV switcher. Notice everything's also in French. And they sold the 7800 in Europe, obviously. Hey, do you mind? But there it came with a different controller that was more like an NES controller, but not as good. Let's see here. The 7800 game library. Okay. Pole Position 2, the Pac-Man game, which, as popular as that was at the time, I think that was a great Pac-Man game given the controller. This Pac-Man, Joust, Choplifter, Deluxe Asteroids, Desert Falcon, Centipede, Xevious, Karateka. I've never played Karateka on a console. I've only played it on an Apple II. Sky Fox, One-on-One Basketball, Ball Blazer, Hat Trick, Summer Games, Mission Impossible, Winter Games. And there's the other side of our box here. Serial number. Got a little tape holding this thing together. 1987, Atari Corporation. Pretty cool. Well, I would make this guy move, but it's not going to do any good. And if I send him out of the basement here, he will just cry at the door and make it very hard to film a video. These were all in the box, and I'm sure not all of them belong in the box because some of them are game manuals, but let's take a little trip down memory lane. Here is the instruction manual, owner's manual. Love those 80s graphics with the squares. Your 7800 Pro system. Sadly, because it's been a while and a lot of people have forgotten, these days instructions are pretty useful actually. Most people probably don't remember those switches. That's how we had to do it back in the day. I thought this was cool. Here is a warranty registration card, 90-day limited warranty. feel like maybe Atari doesn't have that P.O. box anymore. But there it is. P.O. Box 61657, Sunnyvale, California, 94088. What do we got here? I'm guessing this might have come in with the thing also. Free games, video registration card. I don't know. I don't know if this came. I'm guessing maybe. Well, where's it going? Nope, this product registration in San Francisco. I'm not sure if this came with the system or not. Name, address, zip code, game purchased. Okay, so I guess maybe this came with a game. Let's see. Do you have a 2600, 7800, a Nintendo, a Sega, something else? Number of video games you own. See, back in the day, you had to willingly give your information to companies. They just didn't grab it off your electronics. Okay, California Games by Epix. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. When I was young, I used to say Epix, which seems really dumb. I'm pretty sure it's Epix. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Free software. Send the mailer into Epix. Let's see. Win a drawing for free software. More Epix. I thought this was cool. When I was flipping through. This is the now you can play the way the pros do on TV. And apparently Epix didn't just make video games. These were such a fad back in the 80s. You get a VHS tape to play along with board games. It was a whole thing. Actually, when I was acquiring some VHS tapes, I procured a Clue game for one of my buddies. Maybe we'll do a video on that one of these days. I still don't think we've played it. Or you can play by ear, cassette tapes. This certainly came with the box, the Pole Position 2 manual, which is really just a folded sheet compared to the NES. The Atari manuals were very simple. Driver, start your engines. If you ever wondered what it took to get the pole position, there it is. You know, lap time under 58.60. I have an arcade machine, and on that machine it requires a number better than that. So what have we here? We've got a nice fold out. This is cool. This is also from Epix. Zoom out a little bit. There we go. Kind of blowing through the manuals. If you're unaware by chance, AtariAge.com, which is a wonderful resource and is now actually owned by Atari. But any manual you could ever want for an Atari game or anything like that, they have them all on the website. So, which is really, really nice, and it's free. Super skateboarding. Rad. About 80s. Nice legs. Joystick of sorts here. Video games. Oh, nice. I like those. Activision. Back then they were cool though. Ghostbusters. Other review. Oh, it's for a magazine. I don't remember this magazine. Maybe it was a little more Atari focused. Somebody sent something in. Brian, was that you? Okay. Yeah, this looks very Atari. And there's a manual for summer games. All right, kitty cat, let's take a look at some of these games. So most of these are going to be sealed. There's a few that are just complete unboxed. I have another whole batch of games in another one of my unmarked boxes down here, but this is what I was able to grab easily. So let's take a look. Now this was peculiar to me because Pole Position 2 was the Pac-Man game. So like we were talking about, there's got to be variants of this. There must have been a version that either came with a different game or did not come with a game at all, since Pole Position 2 was sold separately. And be the Grand Prix winner. Fantastic game. See what you did. See what you did. You knocked over Donkey Kong. But that just makes the decision as to what to look at next easier. Yeah, Nintendo character, but on an Atari. It happened. It's just like there's a Mario Brothers game on the 5200. It's true. It really happened. As I recall, this is a pretty good version of Donkey Kong as well. Dig Dug, there's a classic. I never really got to play Dig Dug in the arcade or on a console, but I did have it for the Apple II. So, unlike everybody else, I'm used to playing it with a keyboard. I really enjoyed Dig Dug. I spent a lot of time with Dig Dug. The little exterminator guy, and you use an air pump to blow things up. Alright, here's a game everybody knows. Centipede. This game's got bugs. Oh, isn't that clever? And very, very true today. Let's see what else we got here. Jinx. Real Sports. Everybody likes Miss Pac-Man. There's an example of a sequel that's superior to the original. I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody with that, but I really enjoy Miss Pac-Man more than regular Pac-Man. Gobble, gobble, gulp. I will just not comment on that, even though I really want to. Not just Pac-Man with Bo. That's how the old commercial went anyway. Woman of the Year. Feels like go-go boots on and a boa. Joust is a game that I don't think gets a lot of love today. Younger gamers seem unaware of it. I know they made an arcade 1-up. Maybe it's downloaded more in the online stores and stuff than I realized, but Joust, this is another one of those I never got to play on a console, or I think I played it in the arcade a couple times way back in the day, but this is another game I was mostly familiar with from the Apple II. Touche. And you ride these ostriches, and you gotta poke the other guy off the platform, and it's just fun. It's a clever idea. I wonder why no one's made a modern Joust. Of course, I'm so out of the loop. It's totally possible somebody has, and I'm just very unaware. Meltdown. I think that's actually a 2600 game mixed in. Sorry about that. ZBS. Another Donkey Kong Jr. Let's take a look at Donkey Kong Jr. It's always interesting to see Nintendo titles on another system. And keep in mind, a lot of these came out, the 7800 came out in 87, and the NES was already going strong. I'm sure there's a licensing story there, and I'm sure somebody probably knows it, but I don't offhand. I remember hearing a story once, but I don't want to relay all the wrong information or anything, so I'll just keep my mouth shut. But Junior's Revenge. You just love being in the way. We got Asteroids and Dark Chambers, Ballblazer's fun. Meltdown, but I just wanted to share. I know the Atari 7800 is getting some renewed interest thanks to the 2600 Plus. A a lot of these games, these sealed ones, Brian and I ordered, I think it was a dude, I can't remember the website, I'm sure maybe some of you will, but like this was like 2000 maybe 99. This dude he bought like the closeout of all the 7800 games that didn't sell, and he had thousands of them sitting in a storage unit like in Missouri or something, I think. Not like a self-storage unit, but like a commercial industrial storage thing. I think it was like in a limestone cave or something. I'm not making this up. And you could go on his website, and I think you send him an email with your credit card information, or you print out the form and send him a check or whatever. Like this was like very basic e-commerce because of it was a very like 1996 looking website, but you just go on his website and he had maybe 20-25 games to choose from, and they were all still sealed, brand new. And at the time they were 10-12 years old. Now they're getting ancient, but they were all like, I think they were, I remember buying some for $1 a piece, and then later on I think he upped the price to $2 a piece. I know just before I bought them, at one point he was charging 50 cents a piece. And a lot of these sealed ones, just with kind of the renewed interest in the 7800, a lot of these sealed ones have finally started to move up in price. For years you could buy them for a few bucks. It was no big deal. And obviously these aren't rare. There's really no, if you wanted to get a complete 7800 collection, there's less than 100 games. I think there's 70 some odd games, and there's no crazy, like, there's not a 7800 version of Stadium Events. There's a couple titles that are more rare, but they're findable, especially if you're willing to pay a little bit, but they're not astronomically expensive, and they're not extraordinarily rare. So if you wanted a complete 7800 collection, you could totally do it. Same with the 5200, but the prices have started to move up. I assume that's a response to the 2600 plus, which does play to 7800 games, and honestly many of the 7800 games are basic. Nothing against the Atari 2600, but for any modern gamer, it's just extremely basic, and these are more in line with some of the stuff we remember from like the NES era. So, but I just I kind of wanted to share this with you. I bought a 7800 game drive because I was kind of in a rock and a hard place. The 2600 plus will play to 7800 games, but do I want to open a bunch of factory sealed games? I mean, I have carts for a lot of these somewhere, but not all of them, I'm sure. Do I want to open factory sealed games just to play them on a 2600 plus? Not really, but the ease of the HDMI and stuff to record for the site, that's much easier than this. But there's a game drive out, and it has a 7800 game drive, and it has a neat AV option, so I'm not stuck using the RF and AV cables. So I'll go over that in a separate video, as well as some other controller options for the 7800. But I just wanted to share this collection with you guys, and sure some younger people especially have never seen all this stuff before. So there you go. Hey, you were a bad boy all through that video. Yeah, you were not good. You did not make that easy. If I'm gonna revive my gaming channel here, we're gonna have to come up with some ground rules, Dick. Yeah. Am I gonna have to go rent an office? Is that what it's gonna take?